What's happening? As you can see, this is not my normal studio setting for recording the podcast. Some of you may know I'm on holidays in California, and I've been meaning to do a podcast at some stage about holidays or travel or the benefits of traveling. And I just said, you know what, just record while on holidays and give them the idea while you're actually doing it. So here we are. If you're looking at me on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, I'm going to put this whole video on YouTube. You'll see behind me I am in a place called Bass Lake, which is pretty damn stunning place. We're in this kind of wooden chalet here, and we're using this as a base to go to a place called Yosemite National Park, which I'll get into later. But this is our base where we stay, and then we drive there, have a car rental and all that. But so there's no typical intro into the podcast this week. No, the road music, none of that. It's just me rambling. It's good to be here, and it's good to be doing it from a different setting. So yeah, thanks for everyone that tuned in to episode 28 with my good friend KD coach Keith Doyle. Got a lot of good feedback on that. This is episode 29. Don't ask me the date. It's about 4 days before it's coming out anyway. It's going to come out on the usual Monday. If you guys are interested, I know a lot of you listen to the audio, but if you are interested, I'm going to put like footage of this trip, bits and bobs of this trip through this whole video, and put it on YouTube. So what we call B-roll, I'm going to put footage of myself and Eve on this trip, what we've seen, and some of it won't line up with what I'm saying, so don't get too confused. I just want to throw some in to make it visually interesting for you guys as well. In fact, if you heard a weird noise before you heard me making weird noises, that was the cell doors of Alcatraz closing, and I just thought that would be a cool ambience. That was the actual cell doors of Alcatraz closing, 3 or 4 cells closing at the same time. I just thought that'd be a cool intro. So I may do that. I may add little sounds into this from time to time as we go through. There's a bit of sound behind me, so I might not be able to do that. We'll see. There's going to be people walking by here. There's going to be birds going. Actually, where I am right now, apparently bears walk through quite often. So I'm to keep an eye out for them as well. If I see one, I'll turn the camera around. Don't ask me what that was. I suppose I should do the usual thing and say like and subscribe to the Road Podcast, my friends. It is picking up. I want it to pick up faster. Share it. Tell your friends you like it even when you don't. Let's get it going, yeah. So all's good here. I haven't been online. I went online there. I haven't been online much at all because I'm busy. I'm driving around. I'm seeing cool things, so I don't really care. And there's no signal in half the places I am anyway. But I went online today to check if the world was still operating as of normal. And there's this. I don't know, my algorithm, or maybe everyone's full of it, is some dude in Ibiza with this like mushroom looking haircut. A beard looked like it was stenciled, driven in, or drawn into his face. This is the maddest haircut, the maddest beard, and then he has this jaw, this big square jaw that looks like it was cut from the boulders in Yosemite itself. And he's gone viral on Ibiza just for standing there bopping away to tunes. Yeah, look, it probably started with ridicule. I bet you the dude is going to make €1 million out of it now, so good for him. But that's how I knew that World War III hadn't started, because everybody's talking about some weird looking dude in Ibiza. So, safe to say, I don't need to go online much anymore until I get home, which is in about 5 days' time. But let me give you the rundown of some of this trip. And that's going to be the episode. I'm going to describe some of the stuff I've seen here in California. It's pretty much been 2 weeks in California. But I hate airports, right? I don't like planes, I don't like airports. I just find it a suffocating experience. And the plane over here, right, I don't know if it was a financial thing, but we didn't fly direct. We flew from Dublin to Boston and then Boston to San Francisco. So it was two quite long planes. The first one was fine, but the second one was an absolute nightmare, man. Nightmare. It was like I felt like a zombie in a phone box. I was just trapped there between people, right? Couldn't sleep. It's like 6 hours just head nodding, trying to sleep, sore neck, all that. In this like glorified Pringles can with wings on it doing 500 miles an hour. And the more you think about the physics behind that, the more I don't want to think about the physics behind that. I don't know how them things are flying around and not having more accidents, to be honest, but I was, needless to say, I was glad to get off that plane. My head was wrecked. So it wasn't the best start to a holiday, but I always get over that, move on. I'm here now, I'm in San Francisco. I landed in San Francisco late at night. And when I say late, it was probably 8 or 9 o'clock, so dark out. So we jump in an Uber from the airport to head to our hotel, which was called the Zeppelin Hotel. This kind of hippie influenced freedom style kind of buzz hotel. Cool hotel, but en route there, you know yourself, when you get to a new place, when you're in the back of the cab, you'd be looking left and right to see what's going on around you and what the city is like. And it's not the best start, it's not the best look for San Francisco when you drive in at night. In certain districts and blocks in San Francisco are like riddled with homelessness. Like the place is painted with homeless people that are lost, and people that have drug problems evidently. And excuse the noises going on around me, hopefully you can pick it up. Your first impressions of San Francisco when you drive through at that time of night would not be the best. You feel sorry for a lot of people. It looks quite wild. Like there's a lot of corners with a lot of people begging and wandering around and in like weird poses. Like their body does be stuck in weird positions. Like one arm over the head, neck twisted sideways, lying face down on the pavement, and some people even like folded over on themselves on the floor like deck chairs. Like you have to almost admire the flexibility. But what it is it has to be fentanyl, man. That drug is terrible, and it seems to be throughout the streets of San Francisco. I know it's in other places as well, but it's scary to see it. So typical. There wasn't a soul out there the last 2 or 3 days on my balcony where I was recording, and then I start recording and chaos ensues next door. So I had to cut and come inside. Sorry. So I had to come back inside. I'm trying to get back to my storytelling. The sound may be better in here now, but anyway. So yeah, we were at San Francisco, right? First impressions, not golden, unfortunately. It's frightening. The drug issue that seems to be existent in that city is pretty frightening. And I don't know America very well at the moment, but I'm sure it's not on its own in that. I'm sure there's loads of areas with that problem, but I hope they can conquer it, man. I hope they can figure out a way to stop that, because I mean, like, grew up in Dublin, we've seen drug addicts all the time, but these are next level. These poor people, I would call victims of this, obviously, you know. They're like, some of them can barely talk to you. And the crazy thing is that, like, you will get someone coming up to you and asking you for change or whatever, which is completely natural. But if you haven't got anything on you and you just say, no, sorry, mate, they're so nice to you. They're not bad people. They've just went down a bad road, you know. And it's pretty sad to see. And it must be a strange dynamic to live in, because I'd imagine the people that live in San Francisco are so used to just walking by all them people on the corners that it doesn't bother them. That it's like wallpaper, you know. But it's, on first impressions, it's pretty strange, I have to admit. And yes, I'm still wearing sunglasses indoors because I just came in and I'm not changing. I don't think I'm super cool or anything, all right. So that was first impressions of San Fran, but it got better, which is good, you know. San Francisco people are lovely. To be honest, people in California are just lovely to us throughout this trip. Well, San Francisco, everyone's real nice. Everyone like wants to know how you are, where you're from, how you're getting on here. Do you need help? You know, and it's pretty. It's cool to see. It's one of the reasons I came back to America on a trip, because I find the people here to be not what we would see on TV whatsoever. They're all good. They're all good people here, and it's probably the Irish thing as well. There's such a lineage to Ireland here that a lot of them have time for you. I don't know if it's like that for every nationality, but we've been speaking to loads of people here and they've all been sound. But one final thing on that fentanyl thing, because it stuck with me for a few days afterwards. We while we were in San Fran, like, we done some cool stuff, but we went on a tour with this guy as well. I'll tell you about the tour in a moment, but Niamh asked him about the fentanyl thing, and he said, yeah, it's terrible here. He said 6 of his close friends have died from it. 6, right? And we were like shocked at that. And later on that night, we had a few drinks, and there was a doorman. There was a doorman outside the bar, and we were chatting to him. We pop into his bar, Scottish kid. So we were talking to him, and he came over here and came over to San Francisco in like 2018 or 19. He's into EDM music. He makes EDM music, and he wanted to come over here to kind of push further for his dream. The scene was in San Francisco for EDM at the time, and he said he got over here. COVID happened and the scene never recovered. He said the EDM scene died after COVID, which is a shame for that lad. And now he's just working doors here now. He probably came over here to make the dream come true, and then the scene died and the poor kid's just working doors. I can imagine he'll probably go back to Scotland at some stage. But the reason I speak of him, because we asked him the same question about fentanyl, and he said he knew 30 people that died from fentanyl since he got here. 30 people. That's like mass murder, man. That's crazy. But let's not talk of the grim too much. Let's talk of the positives, the bright side of San Francisco. We booked, well, I'm kind of still speaking about the grim, right? We booked a tour with a guy called Mike. I can't remember the exact name of the tour, but it was basically a walking tour through San Francisco, giving you the stories of the dark histories of San Fran, crime and murder and all that. If you know me, you know I'm into that stuff. So we said, right, let's go on that tour. So the tour was like a half hour delayed. The guy emailed me saying I'll be a half hour late. So we're waiting there for him to pick us up for the tour, and he shows up, and this guy Mike, and his dog, what was his dog's name again? Apollo, I think that was the dog's name. Cool little dog. Brought me and Niamh on the tour, and it was only me and Niamh. So we got a private tour around San Francisco about the dark histories of San Fran, and I had to write some of them down because I couldn't remember some of these dark histories. So this tour covered a number of cool stories and stuff I didn't know about San Fran and the origin of interesting tales, but I'll just give you some of them. He gave us the story behind the Stockholm Syndrome girl. I'm not going to go into detail on all these because these are nearly podcasts in themselves, but if any of you remember this rich girl, I think she was the daughter of hotel owners in San Francisco. She got kidnapped by some gang an activist gang in San Francisco and was missing for a few years, and then spotted doing a bank robbery with them. Everybody thought she was either dead or in a cell somewhere trapped, and she ended up joining the gang and was doing robberies with them, right? And I can't remember why, but that's how they got the term Stockholm Syndrome. That's to do with her. So I'm going to look that up more. That was pretty cool. Also, San Francisco has dark connections with the Bohemian Grove. Kind of the group of rich individuals that go to Bohemian Grove every year, and all the dark conspiracies behind that. Some of them stem from San Francisco. There's also another group that came from that called the Family, and that's a group of rich individuals, all men, that have some sort of club, and the building, the headquarters for that club, he brought us outside the building, and there's weird stuff etched on the walls of it, and weird like pictography that you could question, with like men holding children and stuff, and you could go down that road if you wanted. But he said, your man Mike said, he's never seen anybody come in or out of that building, and he doesn't know what goes on inside of it, but that's the headquarters for some crew called the Family. So that might be worth looking into as well. He also brought us to this hotel on a side street, a dark, small hotel where apparently Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, used to hide in between murders. He would go to this hotel and hide there until the heat had cooled down a bit and the cops weren't looking as hard for the Night Stalker, and then he'd go out and do more, and then he'd go and stay in that hotel again. And apparently his hotel room that he was staying in, he must have stayed there long term, had all stuff written on the walls with blood, and the cops took the door with them for evidence, and they took bits of the wall with them. I need to look into it. And during that period, some girl was found murdered in the basement of that hotel, and it was like a ritualistic style murder, and the cops never figured out who done it. But in hindsight, Richard Ramirez was staying in the hotel at the time, so look, it was probably him. Crazy stories indeed. Also, a cult called the Church of Satan. That's a nice name for a cult, huh? Straight to the point. The Church of Satan was founded in San Francisco too. And there's a few mad stories behind that, which I might do a podcast on myself, but a really good tour. And I was so intrigued by this guy. He was such a character that I actually emailed him the following day asking him to have a meeting with me and come on the podcast while I was over there. And he agreed to it. He was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's walk around the streets with the mobile mics like I have on now, and he'll tell stories for the podcast. I was delighted, man. I was like, that's going to be a great episode. And we were to go to Alcatraz the next day, and then after Alcatraz, at about 8 p.m, I was to meet Mike and do the podcast. And our Alcatraz boat, for a number of weird admin issues, our boat got messed up, our time did, and we ended up having to catch the last boat to Alcatraz. So I didn't get back in time to meet Mike. If you're not watching the video, I'm shaking my head and I'm hanging my head. I was so disappointed. Yeah, I was sick. So look, it wasn't meant to happen. So I'll go into more detail on what I found out on that tour on an individual episode maybe. Or maybe I'll go to San Francisco and meet Mike again, who knows. But that brings us to Alcatraz. So if you've been following me on social media, you might see bits and bobs of me saying I'm going here, I'm going there, and the odd picture, but I haven't shared anything really. I've kept nearly all my footage for this podcast. So after you listen to the audio, go onto the YouTube and check it out. So we did finally get over on the very last boat to Alcatraz. So we got the late one, which was better because it was like dark and you got this weird eerie vibe. You get to walk through the actual jail itself and see the cells and feel the energy of the place. And there's even people doing spoken kind of tours, and you get to learn. I got to learn about the Birdman of Alcatraz, another crazy character. Also, if anybody has seen the movie Escape from Alcatraz, You'll remember, true story, obviously, a group of lads. Frank Morris was the main culprit, but there was 3 or 4 lads that escaped in 1962, I believe, from Alcatraz. The film's really good, but you get to see Frank Morris's cell and a couple of the other lads' cells who escaped. And if you've seen the film, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert. The film's like 40 years old, so whatever. One of the ways he hid his escape for as long as he could was he made this paper mache head of himself and he put it in his bed. So they planned on escaping first thing at night once the cell doors closed, and then the next morning he would have that paper mache head in his bed so no one suspected anything until they came into his cell. But that head was still there, and you could see in the cell where they dug the hole to escape at the back of the cell, at the bottom of the wall. They dug the holes through the wall into the piping area of the prison and escaped through there. They just broke the head off a spoon and scraped. I don't know how long it took them. I'd have to look up that. But the discipline, just digging every night at the wall, scraping away to get this hole big enough for them to escape. And they were never found. They escaped. Crazy. So if you're ever here in San Francisco, I would recommend going to see Alcatraz. It's very cool, and I've got some cool footage that I'm going to attach to this of it. It's a dark, eerie place. It's an island owned by seagulls now. They absolutely own the place. It's like a ghost island. Also done the other touristy stuff in San Francisco, like the Golden Gate Bridge. Big, massive bridge, hundreds of people taking photos at it. It's good. Walk across it and cars are just thundering past you. It's interesting. It's massive. It's massive when you're there. It's really big. It's a really cold, misty part of San Francisco actually, because it's so close to the Atlantic. San Francisco can get cold at times. I didn't expect that, but yeah, that's because it's so close to the Atlantic. So we did eventually, after 4 days, leave San Francisco, and we had a car, which makes it so much handier to see places in California. You need a car, man. So we drove to a small coastal town called Monterey, and that was Neve's birthday. Was the day we got to Monterey. And it wasn't the ideal start to her birthday either, because we're staying in different hotels as we're traveling, obviously. So we got to some hotel here. It was like, even the name of it should have had a red flag. It was like the Best Value America Hotel.com or something, right? And we get there, and you'll see it on my Instagram actually if you go on. And it's like the entrance was barriered off with yellow tape, like building site tape. I was like, great. So we drove around the back street got in through the back, and there's all these builders, like half the front face of the building is missing. There's all these lads hammering away, just looking at us, and we're like, we're supposed to have a room in here. So we checked in and got our room. Pool not working, none of the facilities available. Just, here's your room, get over it. It's like one of them seedy motels you see in American movies where people have illicit affairs or do drug transactions by opening the suitcase. Dude looks around, closes it, leaves the room. It was like one of them hotels. So it wasn't the ideal start to her birthday. And then we get an email saying that the whale watching trip we had booked was cancelled because of a tsunami alert. A tsunami was meant to be hitting close to the coast where we were, or potentially anyway. So the boats were obviously cancelled. So there was nothing on. It was a disaster. So the first day in Monterey was just no-go. I think we had a couple of drinks and went to bed. The second day then, in fairness to the boat company, they rearranged our whale watching for the following day. So that was great. And we got to go out, and I'd never seen a whale before. And before we went out, I asked the crew, I said, will we see something? And they're like, hopefully we might see the odd thing. And we went out, and there was a group of 15 humpback whales out about an hour, when we went out about an hour into the ocean. 15 humpback whales all feeding as a group, which apparently is super rare to see a group that large in that area. So that was awesome. And they came quite close to the boat. and they were followed by a load of seals. All the seals followed them because as the whales are feeding, there's like fish scattering everywhere, and the seals are just jumping around, grabbing fish everywhere. It's crazy to see. It's really cool. So yeah, seeing 15 humpback whales for a good hour, just chilling, watching them, it was great crack. So Monterey did end well. It did end well. Oh no, let me say one more thing about Monterey actually. Chowder, right? I love chowder. Monterey apparently has, we went to a place in Monterey that apparently had one of the best clam chowders around. And they weren't lying, man. I got this clam chowder, right? In a big bowl, but the bowl is bread. So they scoop out the middle of the bread and they pour the clam chowder in it, and then you just eat the soup, the chowder, and you eat the bowl, right? And it's like it's a meal from the gods. It's lovely, but the calories are probably from the devil. I didn't want to know how many calories was in it. I couldn't even eat it all. I could only eat like a quarter of the bread bowl, and then like I was absolute comatose. But yeah, clam chowder in Monterey, down at the wharf, bang. If you're there, go and do it. There's a place there claiming to do the best one. I can't remember the name of it, but go there. Savage. So yeah, that was Monterey, and from Monterey we moved on again. We went to wine country because we wanted to see some of the vineyards, taste some of the local wines, and eat all the cheese and feel rich and feel sophisticated. So we went to a place called Paso Robles, which is just surrounded by beautiful vineyards. And we went to a vineyard there called Cass Winery. And we got this little tour from a dude called Greg. And what he does is he shows up on a little motorbike with a sidecar. And he threw me and Neve into the sidecar, and he drives around the vineyard and just stops off and gives you interesting information about the vineyard. And then when you get back, you just drink loads of wine and eat cheese and eat meat. And I highly recommend it. Again, when we were there was people walking by and they heard our accent and they just want to talk to you. They just want to hang with Irish people. So it was good fun in Paso Robles. We were only there for a night, I think, and then we moved on back in the car to another place called Visalia. It was basically our base point where we stayed in order to travel to Sequoia National Park. And sequoia trees are these big redwood trees in a woodland, obviously Sequoia National Park. In this woodland, right? And these trees are the biggest trees in the world. I don't think it's necessarily by height, it's by accumulation of height and width. These redwood trees are so thick. They're just, I can't describe it. You actually go on my Instagram, you'll see some photos of me standing beside them, and I'm like an ant, right? They're massive. And some of them are older than 3,000 years old. So some of these things they're pre-biblical. They're so old. They've been there for that long. So this park is really well protected and it's really well run, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to visit. We hiked around there for around 5 hours and took some great photos and some great footage, which I'll add to this. It's like so beautiful that you get used to its beauty after 3 hours, and it's like you're just like surrounded by it. You could do a 2 days trip there and still you wouldn't take it all in. It's really, really good. But we just done the 1 day. We done a long one. I don't know what's wrong with me. I didn't do it, and I haven't been lifting weights in a week and a half. But for some reason, my lower back decided that I didn't want to play ball anymore, and I still done the 5 hours there. And the next day I was in bits, right? And I still am a little bit now. I don't know. I'm just applying. I'm taking a painkiller and applying cream on it to try and survive, because I want to do more hikes. So we soldiered on, and then the next day we hit the road again. We done 2 days in Visalia, I think, and then we got to where we are now, which is where I'm sitting in this cool little wooden chalet. I wanted to stay on the balcony, but the neighbours decided to have a little party out there. Actually, let me rewind a little bit. how did I forget one of the weirdest parts of while we were on that 5 hour walk in Sequoia? Towards the very end, like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the end of that walk, Neve said to me, do you think we'll see a bear here? Because there's bear signs everywhere. And I said to her, to be honest, we're highly unlikely to see a bear at this stage. If we didn't see one now, if we didn't see one by now, we're probably not going to see one. And 5 seconds later, a bear appears on the path in front of us. I swear, I'm not even exaggerating. 5 seconds after I said that, a bear's just looking at me. I'm like, there's a bear. I took my phone out and started recording. He had no interest in us. He was just wandering around looking for food. Apparently black bears aren't as dangerous. Now, they could be dangerous if you scare them and come across them without giving them a warning. Apparently when you see them, you're supposed to just talk at them or talk to yourselves and walk past them. But this bear just wandered off then. But I have to say, it was a little bit scary. Yeah, you'll see it on my TikTok and Instagram, the bear. But he was all friendly, so it was all good. After Sequoia, we hit the road again and we drove about an hour and 30 minutes to a place called Bass Lake, and that's where I am now, in this cool wooden chalet which had a cool balcony I could record on until the neighbours decided to just go absolutely apeshit out there, and they probably stopped straight after I left. So we're inside now. It's a cool place. Apparently bears wander around here too. We haven't seen one outside the grounds, but apparently they can be seen here, so I'm keeping an eye out. But this is a really nice place. There's a lake just over the back of us here. You can jump in, swim, you can get boats, jet skis, loads of stuff to do. There's also a swimming pool, there's bars, restaurants. This is a nice place. So we're staying here for 4 days, and then we have to go back to San Francisco and fly home. So this is a nice kind of hangout spot for us to finish the holiday on. And from here, this is our base point for our second national park, which is Yosemite. Now, as I speak, we've done 1 day in Yosemite. I obviously took a painkiller and got on with it, and we done a handy hike. It was more of a level ground hike, because I should mention the first park, Sequoia, 6,500 feet up in the air, and your walking point in Yosemite is about 5,000 or 6,000 feet up in the air as well. So it's high temperature and high altitude, so it can be hard. Considering we're doing 3 or 4 hikes in Yosemite, I said my first one with my back, I'll do a handy one. So we done this Mirror Lake trail loop or something. I think it was 8 kilometers, handy. Really nice. Yosemite is like, it doesn't matter if you look up, down, left or right. It's just a majestic place. It's beautiful. It's surrounded by lovely hills and mountains and stonework. It's just amazing. Trees everywhere, and squirrels hopping around you everywhere, and bears too. There's bears apparently all over the place. We didn't see any for a long time on that stroll today, and then sure enough, we're walking through this pathway, and there's just like bear shit or bear scat, whatever you want to call it, right in the middle of it. Like he just put it there to let us know he was around. We walked on then a bit more cautiously, and then another one right in the path again. Another message from the bear. And I was like, no way. So he was close by. It looked like it was fresh, let's just say that. But a few minutes later, we could hear him in the bushes somewhere close to us, moving around and stuff, but he never showed his face. So we just wandered on. But it's funny how quickly you get used to it. It's funny how quickly you get used to the fact that there might be a bear in your close proximity. And also there's mountain lions there as well, which apparently can be dangerous. But I find that these animals have no interest in us unless we're waving pieces of meat around, which would just be foolish. So they'll stay out of your business if you stay out of theirs, is what I found. But I actually would like to see one again, because it's just like, we don't have anything like that in Ireland. So yeah, Yosemite is where I'm currently at, and I'm going to go back tomorrow to do probably a harder hike. I'm hoping my body holds up. And that was just a slight, like a bit of an segments of information about the trip. I just thought I'd let you know what it's like, and I thought that'd be a different type of episode. I would totally recommend traveling around California if you get the opportunity. It is really cool, and we've probably only seen a small bit of it. And last year we done Arizona and stuff in the Grand Canyon, and that was equally as cool. To be honest, I don't think I'll ever beat seeing anything as beautiful in nature as the Grand Canyon. The photos just don't do it justice. You just got to walk up on it and hike through it. It's amazing. But Yosemite is close. It is close, and I'm going to see more cool parts of it now in the next coming days. Actually, I'm going to try and go catch a sunset up there now in the next hour, so I do got to run. I know episode 29 was a bit different. I hope you liked it. If you're on the audio, thank you very much. Check out the YouTube. I'm going to put some cool stuff in that. I hope you are all good. Thanks for everyone from obviously Ireland, Australia, America, weird places in Europe, listening to this podcast. I've even got my t-shirt on for you today. I hope you are all good, and I'll have a guest for the next one, most likely. So keep tuning in. Have a good motherfucking week. Much love. I'm going to do the rest of this holiday. See you later.